Grand Rising. You know why our energy is so high? Is because we've come to the conclusion that we have no allies. Now, once we come to this conclusion that we don't have any allies, then we don't give our energy to any other people. That is a huge, you know, a huge point that has been learned by our people. For so long, we have been trying our best to help other people, be allies with other people, try to make things easier for other people, all the while ignoring our own plight. Now, we don't do that anymore because of the times that we are in. When we were under the curses, we were fighting so hard to try to get anyone to, acknowledge us or acknowledge our plight and whatever else. But at this point, we don't care anymore if anyone acknowledges our plight because we have the Most High. We have the Holy Spirit. Okay? They've turned their faces back to us and now they've enlightened us to all the people that are around us. Now, I want to play this video of this Palestinian woman who, again, is funny. She says a couple of things in this clip and pretty much like, well, we were so happy to have black people going with us because they understand about occupation. You're right. We do understand about being occupied. And, but it took a turn because the black people that were going with them were pretty much talking about the plight of the black people. And that's what it's been like. And then she'll say, well, we don't want this to be like an Olympics of like who's been, hurt the most, who's been damaged the most, who's been, traumatized the most. They don't want it. They don't want it to be a victim Olympics. But see, there is no Olympics. We have been the most victimized of all people. No one's gone into chattel slavery. No one's done it for 400 years. No one's had all the things done to us, done to them. So there's no such thing as a victim Olympics. Okay, but I'm going to play a little bit of the video because, again, she's so surprised that so-called Negroes weren't just, so quick to just give all of this praise and this help and this encouragement to Palestinians. We're not doing that to any other group anymore because you guys have all had your opportunities to actually acknowledge what's happened to us and try to make things right, and you've refused to do so. So now you're going to have to deal with the Most High. It's like even like with right now, you guys are getting all this knowledge, all this truth. You have an opportunity to actually try to make amends, and no one wants to do that. No one's trying to make amends. So therefore, you must know that you're not going to be able to because your actions show otherwise. So let me show this video. So it's about an hour. It's about a minute long clip here. Okay.
She could get away with spreading anti-Israel lies. But her own black American, a Palestinian activist, thought she could get away with spreading anti-Israel lies. But her own black American allies turned on her after experiencing Palestinian racism firsthand. Watch her viral meltdown as she tries to cope with the truth.
I don't know what I was expecting from my trip to Palestine, but I certainly did not expect to walk away with racial tensions between myself and the black people in our group. And that's really disappointing for me to admit because I was so excited to go on this trip with black Americans because I was always under the impression that black people will be our greatest allies because they understand more than anybody what it's like to live under occupation, what it's like to be oppressed and racially profiled.
So why exactly do you seem to think that we would be your biggest allies? Have you been an ally to us when we were going through our plight? Have you done anything to step up to help us when we were going through our oppression? But see, that's what they want. They always seem to want us to give them our energy. They always want us to give them our energy, right, and our support with nothing given to us in return. Everyone has had an opportunity to reciprocate, to try to stand with us in solidarity, and all have refused. So I have no idea why you guys seem to think that all of a sudden now, when things are switching, that you seem to think that we are going to just, jump up and run to go and help everyone. Those days are done with. You're going to have to save yourselves. And what you're going to have to save yourselves from is the true Most High, the true power that is coming on this earth. The true Most High, the true power that says that, an unjust weight are an abomination. That's the one that you're going to have to deal with now. So see, everyone's been living high off the hog, off of unjust weights, and now you're going to have to deal with the Most High, who's coming, who says that those types of things are unjust weights. So again, for you to seem to think that us so-called black people were going to just jump up and go and help you because we know what oppression is. But yes, we know what oppression is. We know about living under occupation. And see, she said that. And it was funny in the comment section. People were like, oh, she's so stupid. She's so dumb. It was colonialism. No, it was an occupation. You have occupied the Most High's chosen people on their lands. You have been occupiers on their lands. You've made them serve you on their lands. So what she said was correct because the Most High made her say that. But of course, in the comment sections, they try to say, oh, she's just so dumb. She doesn't even know the difference between colonialism and occupation. She knew exactly what she was saying. She knew that you guys have been over here occupying us. That's why you other nations were allowed to come over here and occupy us as well, because the Edomites wanted you to be guilty just like they're guilty. You are also guilty of occupying, someone else's lands and being occupiers on our lands. So let me continue.
With racial tensions between myself and the black people in our group. And that's really disappointing for me to admit because I was so excited to go on this trip with black Americans because I was always under the impression that black people will be our greatest allies because they understand more than anybody what it's like to live under occupation, what it's like to be oppressed and racially profiled. But during the trip, it felt like some people were too busy playing oppression Olympics to fully grasp the experiences of Palestinians living in Palestine. Some people came on the trip with a very limited understanding of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause, which is problematic in and of itself. But the most...
Again, oppression Olympics, and don't understand what's been going on with the Palestinian people. You just said we were the most oppressed. We would definitely understand. We understand just fine. It's just we don't care about what's happening to you. Because, see, that's how we save our energy for ourselves. That's how we keep our frequencies high, because we are now worried about ourselves. We're worried about the covenant that we have with the Most High. We're about the covenant that we have with the Holy Spirit. We are worried about our ancestors. We're worried about our angels. We're not worried about every other group anymore. You can worry about yourselves now. And you put yourselves in these positions because, again, you were the ones who made a covenant with the devil. Now, you Palestinians, I kind of find it funny. You want our help. You want us because we supposedly understand your plight so much. But you don't even admit who the true Israelites are. Now, see, in the 1950s, the president of Egypt said that you guys, Ish will never have peace in the Middle East because they left black but came back white. So if they knew this in the 50s, if Nasir was saying this in the 50s, from Egypt, the president of Egypt, that means that you know who the true Israelites are as well. And you are confederate with hiding that fact by still acknowledging Ish as being the Most High's chosen people. And that you're battling back and forth with Ish. So therefore, why would we support you if you're not supporting us in the truth? If you're not helping to, tell the truth and talk about who we are and talk about the covenant that we have and talk about how we're the Most High's chosen people. See, now we know that you guys are all bullshitting. I said, because you supposedly hate Ish so much and they're doing all these horrible things to you, but you keep their secret. How is it you're still keeping the secret of Ish, the Jewish people? How are you still keeping that secret, but then acting like they're your enemies at the same time? If you want our help, then you would admit the truth. You would be supporting us, and you would be supporting us with the truth. You would be admitting who we are. You would be admitting that you need to cleave to the Most High's chosen people. You would be going back to, if you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. If you curse Israel, you'll be cursed. You would be going to that. But the fact that you're not proves that you guys are all just playing charades, and you're still trying to get us to come over here and work with you and give you our energy. Like she said, I was just so excited because we were finally going to get the black people to come in and give their energy to us. That's what you should have been saying. These black people are going to come in and support us in our plight. We're not supporting anyone. We have no allies. We have nothing but enemies. And now we understand that. Only people that we have are allies are people that are going to be cleaving. And if they're cleaving, they're going to be admitting the truth. They're going to be admitting who we are. They're going to be admitting how we've been fulfilling the scriptures. If you're not admitting any of that, then you're part of the problem. You are not an ally. You are an enemy. And you're just trying to perpetuate the lies that have been perpetuated on us for hundreds of years. You're trying to bear false witness still. And that's why you get absolutely none of our energy. Much love, family. Shalom.